to Consider the News. Today we will be talking about the Maine Lobster Festival.
The enormous, pungent, and extremely well-marketed Maine Lobster Festival is held every late June in the state's mid-coast region.
Total paid attendance was over 100,000, and available to eat were lobster rolls, lobster turnovers, lobster sauté, down east lobster salad, lobster bisque, lobster ravioli, and deep-fried lobster dumplings.
Now, of course, lobster is posh, a delicacy only a step or two down from caviar. Up until sometime in the 1800s, though, lobster was literally low-class food, eaten only by the poor and institutionalized because it was thought to be cruel and unusual.
As an a la carte entree, lobster can be baked, broiled, steamed, grilled, sautéed, stir-fried, or microwaved. The most common method, though, is boiling. If you're someone who enjoys having lobster at home, this is probably the way you do it, since boiling is so easy.
A detail so obvious that most recipes don't even bother to mention it is that each lobster is supposed to be alive when you put it in the kettle.
Even if you cover the kettle and turn away, you can usually hear the cover rattling and clanking as the lobster tries to push it off, or the creature's claws scraping the sides of the kettle as it thrashes around. The lobster, in other words, behaves very much as you or I would behave if we were plunged into boiling water.
A blunter way to say this is that the lobster acts as if it's in terrible pain. The truth is that if you, the festival attendee, permit yourself to think that lobsters can suffer and would rather not, the Maine Lobster Festival begins to take on the aspect of something like a Roman circus or medieval torture fest.
In any event, at the Maine Lobster Festival, standing by the boiling tanks outside the world's largest lobster cooker, watching the fresh-caught lobsters pile over one another, it is difficult not to sense they're unhappy or frightened.
I'm not trying to give you a PETA-like screed here. At least I don't think so. Do you think much about the possible moral status and probable suffering of the animals involved?
Find the answer from David Foster Wallace right after this short break.
Celebrity Cruises will micromanage every iota of every pleasure option so that not even your dreadful, corrosive action of your adult consciousness and agency and dread can stop your fun. Get ready to record foreign experiences and be pampered. The cruise includes a visit to local islands and join in the world's only known species of bovine carnivores as they explore Caribbean ports. Come with us and experience a supposedly fun thing.
Do you think much about the possible moral status and probable suffering of the animals involved?
I have an obvious selfish interest in the belief that animals are less morally important than human beings, since I like to eat certain kinds of animals and want to be able to keep doing it. But while I think this, my time on a celebrity cruise proved that humans are much like animals and that they travel as part of a high-income herd that cannot escape their unpleasant Americanness, being an insect on a dead thing.
How did your experience on the cruise differ from your trip to Maine?
To be a mass tourist, for me, is to become a pure late-date American. Alien, ignorant, greedy for something that you cannot ever have, disappointed in a way that you can never admit. I don't think it's an accident that luxury cruises appeal mostly to older people for whom their own mortality is something more than an abstraction.
And in Maine?
I confess that I have never understood why so many people's idea of a fun vacation is to don flip-flops and sunglasses and crawl through maddening traffic to loud, hot, crowded tourist venues in order to sample a local flavor that is, by definition, ruined by the presence of tourists.
Thank you for your thoughts. Tune in next time to Consider the News.